Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being, and Sustainable Development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, and also commemorating Viksit Bharat in 2047 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
So, with the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations. Today is commemorated as International Mountains Day on 11th December. Every year, nearly 2 billion people, including many indigenous peoples, depend on water from the mountains for their essential daily needs, livelihoods, and cultural practices. 5 of the past 6 years have seen the most rapid glacier retreat on record, and some 600 glaciers have already disappeared, and many more will vanish if temperatures continue to rise. Today, over 15 million people globally are highly vulnerable to the flooding from glacier lakes. Glaciers are an essential source of life around our mountains. Glaciers, vast reserves of ice and snow found across the planet, are far more than frozen landscapes. They are lifelines for ecosystems and communities, holding around 70% of the world's fresh water. Their accelerated melting represents not only an environmental crisis, but also a humanitarian one, threatening agriculture, clean energy, water security, and billions of people's lives. Their retreat, driven by rising global temperatures, is a stark indicator of the climate crisis. Melting glaciers and thawing permafrost increase risks such as floods, glacier lake, outburst floods, landslides, or enhanced erosion and sediment endangering downstream populations and critical infrastructure. The International Day of Mountains, with the theme Glaciers Matter for Water, Food, and Livelihoods in Mountains and Beyond, highlights the critical role mountain regions play as a key source of global freshwater and calls for the immediate measures to avoid glaciers' disappearance. UN Water UNESCO Joint Report on water and sanitation is launched every year on World Water Day, exploring the same theme as World Water Day and giving policy recommendations to decision makers by offering best practices and in depth analysis. The 2025 edition is titled Water Towers, Mountains, and Glaciers. So, those who cannot go on a hike, we have a multimedia journey to the Carpathian Mountains, the Hindu Kush Himalaya region, the Tian Shan Mountains, and the Brunga Mountains. You will be amazingly amazed by everything you will learn. So, why we need an international mountain day? As we have seen, mountains are natural jewels we should treasure, and they are home to 15% of the world population and host about half of the world's biodiversity hotspots. They provide fresh water for everyday life to half of the humanity, helping to sustain agriculture and supply clean energy and medicines. Unfortunately, mountains are under threat from climate change, overexploitation, and contamination, increasing the risk for the people and the planet. As the climate continues to warm, mountain glaciers melt, affecting freshwater supplies downstream, and mountain people, some of the world's poorest, face even great struggles to survive. The steep slopes mean the cleaning of the forest for farming settlements of infrastructure can cause soil erosion as well as the loss of habitat. Erosion and pollution harm the quality of water flowing downstream and the productivity of the soil. In fact, over 31 million rural mountain people in developing countries live in areas exposed to progressive land degradation. 178 million of whom are considered vulnerable to food insecurity. The problem affects us all. We must reduce our carbon footprint and take care of these natural treasures. International Mountain Day, celebrated since 2003 through FAO, creates awareness about the importance of mountains to life, highlights the opportunities and constraints in mountain development, and builds alliances that will bring positive change to mountain peoples and environments around the world. Today is also commemorated as UNICEF birthday on December 11th every year. People celebrate UNICEF birthday commemorating the day the charity was created in 1946, or the United Nations Children's Fund. UNICEF was initially created to provide emergency food and health care to children and mothers in countries that have been devastated by World War II. Now, the reputable and trustworthy charity has helped save the children's lives than any other humanitarian organization by providing healthcare and immunizations, clean water and sanitation, nutrition, education, emergency relief, and more. On this day, we especially remember their global impact and how we can make a difference ourselves. UNICEF, or the United Nations Children's Fund, is an agency that is part of the United Nations, which is responsible for providing humanitarian and developmental aid to children across the globe. The agency is one of the most extensive and distinguished social welfare organizations in the world, with a presence of 192 countries and territories. UNICEF is a beneficiary of the International Children's Emergency Fund, ICEF, which was created by the UN Relief Rehabilitation Administration in 1946 to provide children and mothers affected by World War II and with immediate aid. In the same year, the UN General Assembly founded the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, to further institutionalize post-war relief work. In 1950, UNICEF's mission was expanded to confront the long-term needs of women and children, especially in developing countries. In 1953, the organization became an established component of the United Nations system. Following this, its name was changed to United Nations Children's Fund, though it kept the original acronym. UNICEF relies entirely on contributions from governments and private donors. In 2019, UNICEF's 137 government partners, along with intergovernmental organizations and interorganizational arrangements, contributed $4.7 billion. The charity organization consists of government representatives that have been appointed by the United Nations Economic and Social Council, UNESCO, generally for three-year terms, 36 members on executive board, establish policies, approve programs, and oversee administrative and financial plans. UNICEF has and continues to contribute greatly to humanitarian causes around the world. In 2018, it assisted in the birth of 27 million babies, administered pentavalent vaccine to an estimated 65.5 million children, provided education for 12 million children, treated 4 million children with severe acute malnutrition, and responded to 285 humanitarian emergencies in 90 countries. For its contribution to humanity, UNICEF has received outstanding recognition for its work, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1965, the Indira Gandhi Prize in 1989, and the Princess of Austria's Award in 2006. During the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, UNICEF, along with the World Health Organization and other agencies, issued instructions on healthy parenting. Every year on December 11th, we remember the creation of UNICEF and consider donating to help even more children in around the world. Today is also commemorated as UNICEF Day for Change in UK on December 11th. UNICEF, for short of United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. The main purpose of this organization is to provide humanitarian aid to children around the world. In 1953, UNICEF adopted the mandate to help vulnerable children all over the world, regardless of the cause. The Day for Change is an initiative by UNICEF to raise awareness about the condition of children and raise funds for their well-being. Suffering is an undisputed part of human life. Human society has always been torn between wars and famines and conflicts. Those who suffer the worst are usually ordinary people, and the children are most affected. This century is relatively peaceful compared to the horrors of the past, but the scares of the bygone days are still visible, and we should help to mend them. UNICEF is now present in 190 countries globally, contributed to the movements and improvements in healthcare and education. According to the UNICEF website, they have reduced infant mortality rates with 30 million or more safe births. UNICEF also is responsible for providing education. They give children in dangerous and remote regions of the world access to fresh food and clean water. UNICEF is an international body that is responsible for the betterment of millions of children. Today is also commemorated as anniversary of the Statue of Westminster in Canada, observed on December 11th every year. Although it is a holiday, Canadians still go to work and it's pretty much an ordinary day. For them, it is a nod to Canadian independence. The Union Jack, where logistics yellow is flown along with the maple leaf on federal buildings, airports, military bases from dawn to dusk to mark this day. It commemorates a British law that was passed on 11th December 1931. It was Canada's final achievement of independence from Britain. The Statue of Westminster gave Canada and the other Commonwealth dominions legal equality with Britain. These countries now had full legal freedom, except in the areas which they closed. So the statue also defined the powers of Canada's parliament and those of other dominions. The day is mostly celebrated in Canada. Today is also commemorated as Burkina Faso Republic Day. Celebrated on December 11th. Burkina Faso, formerly known as Upper Volta, gained emancipation from centuries of tyrannical rule in 1958. The observation of Burkina Faso Republic Day is a day to celebration throughout the country. Several marches, manifestations, and parades are held throughout the nation. The capital city of Ouagadougou is adorned with military trucks. The president addresses the proud Burkina people from the parliament stage. Today is also commemorated as Holiday Food Drive for Needy Animals Day on December 11th in US especially. The day commemorates vulnerable animals worldwide and thanks those who volunteer to help them in their time of distress. People from all walks of life pool their resources, organize food donations to local animal shelters, and participate in volunteer activities to help needy animals. Not all furry four-legged creatures get the love and attention of our pets. Receive millions of cats, dogs, and other companion animals are homeless, starving, or suffering from untreated medical conditions. So do your part to improve your lives today. Animal welfare is by no means a recent concept in human history. Philosophers like Aristotle believed that domestic animals were born with a purpose and that we should appreciate their social and economic contributions to humankind. Established movements for animal protection in the modern world appeared in the early 18th and 19th centuries in the West, beginning with bills against animal cruelty in countries like the UK and US. The Royal Society for Protection and Care for Animals, RSPCA, was founded in 1824 in the UK to advocate for animal rights and inspire others to treat them with compassion and respect. In the US, the first animal shelter was founded in 1869 as part of initiative by Caroline Early White and 30 female activists. The 1970s marked the birth of animal rights movement after Australian philosopher Peter Singer wrote Animal Liberation. Singer's book sparked a debate about the ethical treatment of animals in the modern world. In 1980, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, was formed in Maryland, US. The organization goal was to show Americans how easy it was to transition to a vegan's lifestyle and to practice cruelty-free shipping habits or shopping habits. PETA employed radical measures to push its agenda, including using fake blood, body paint, and other theoretical devices that often courted controversy. By the late 1990s, the animal rights movement was no longer on the fringes of society. Lawyers, doctors, and various academics joined the conversation. Animal lovers started holiday food drive for the needy animals day to help these shelters receive aid through pet pantries and donation drives. Today is also commemorated as National App Day in US on December 11th. Whether you want to take a selfie for the gram, feed your thoughts, or keep your favorite music at your fingertips, celebrate the marvelous world of apps on National App Day on December 11th. Not only do apps make life easier, but they also have created a huge number of employment opportunities for developers, social media warriors, and of course, influencers. It seems wild now to think that there was a life without apps, and the fact that they have even been around for too long is even more unbelievable. Considering their prominence in today's security, although computers are equipped with apps, people primarily use them on mobile devices and tablets. Today, even basic phone functions like sending a text message or making a call are done through apps. Now, many people also earn from apps from home to just with a simple lift of their fingertips. It was a visionary Steve Jobs who first came up with the idea of App Store back in 1983. He envisioned a database where software could be purchased over calls. Along with the advent of revolutionary iPod by Apple, the iTunes Store was launched, paving the way for Apple's future App Store. In 2007, the first iPhone was introduced to the world, and a year later, the App Store was introduced. There were only about 500 apps when the App Store was launched originally, meaning it is difficult to identify the official first app ever to be released. Nevertheless, as more and more smartphones were unveiled, various app clients were also launched. These include Google Play for Android, BlackBerry's App World, and Amazon's App Store. With app downloads reaching more than 175 billion in the year 2017, CJ Thompson, founder of mobile marketing agency Platinum Edge Media, created National App Day. The day is celebrated on December 11th and promotes the collective culture of apps and innovations. Today is also commemorated as Noodle Ring Day. The day recognizes recipes where pasta is made into delicious round casserole. Noodle rings are perfect for enjoying delicious pasta salad to quite complex baked pasta dishes limited only by your budget, adventurous spirit, and creative nature. The day is best known for celebrating the pasta dish formed in 8 or 9-inch ring mold or bun pan. For many, making noodle ring meals will bring back memories of bygone times in which a burnt pan was used to make anything from salads and cakes to pasta. The joy of these fond reminders of loved ones, great meals, and a good times could retrieve the dish with former glory. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations and celebrations. We thank each and everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which is shared in the form of polls before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link. Take care. Good night.